then you did this to me.
I have my revolver holstered up there, and I'm gonna pull it out, and I'm gonna look between the man that shot him, Vivi, and the man I've been chasing after all these years.
This bullet continues to move along the side. And Victor, you watch as someone hunches over on the other side of this ballroom. Time waits for no man. As this old saying echoes through this corridor of history, the relentless march of seconds become a haunting refrain, reminding us of its importance. As time slips through our fingers like sand, trickling down this hourglass with a silent, mocking rhythm, shadow spectators watch and whisper secrets of the past. As the investigators narrow in on a lead, only time will tell if the threads can be pulled into the light and cast those hiding in with the blinding truth. In the curious realm where logic bends and reality twists, we find ourselves tumbling through the rabbit hole of existence, a place where time and reason dance a mad waltz. A line is drawn between dream and a waking blur, and we wander through this wonderland of shadows and light, and we can stand at the crossroads of what is and what might be. The Circle of the Sunstone Charter, assignment number 133-B, The Scarlet Letter. As the camera pans around a dark room, where hooded figures stand around, you hear a voice saying, "The stage is set. Things are in motion. The truth will come to light. Mother will be set free." A finger is then raised and pointed at another figure in the room. "You will bring them to me. We will seek out to snuff the light and those trapped in it." And the camera fades to black. So, investigators, here is what you missed. The last episode. The camera pans around the room, and it starts to weave in and out of the audience in attendance. We're back in the ballroom. But this is way earlier than all of you have anticipated your arrival. Even before you, Vivi. And we watch as we see a figure now seen in the corner of the room wearing a hat, a cane, and a scar over their eye. As they look out into the night, an audible sigh can be heard, and the sound of a ticking clock can also be heard. As they leave the room, the camera pans in, and you can see a card left on a desk. In script, we can read the words, "I am sorry." And right before the camera moves out of the room and the door is locked behind, we stare at a grandfather clock. The grandfather clock standing outside the room strikes 6 on the dot. The movement of the clock now goes into a faster motion. And we watch as the hour goes by faster and faster. And it moves now to 12 a.m. A bell can be heard off in the distance as the clock strikes 12. The camera then takes flight through the walls and it settles over the ballroom floor, where we watch a person standing over a man with a hat, pinned to the ground. We watch as an unhinged Victor is now swinging away at this person on the ground. He continues to swing away slowly, and you start to realize something. Victor, you realize the man isn't fighting back. The person you've been waiting to capture for so long isn't fighting back. What's going through your mind right now, Victor?
I think after some time, I'll stop and I'll look at him and I'll just squint my eyes and try and study him through the bloodied mess that I imagine that he is, because he should be fighting back, right? Unless this is some sort of trap.
Should he be fighting back?
I think so. He has to.
Why?
I just imagine that he has to be fighting back. All this time, everything he's done, the disappearances, the strange deaths, the taunting over the last 20 years, and now I have him. Why wouldn't he be fighting back?
Why? Why does someone need to fight back? Is it for your satisfaction?
I don't know. I think that I will just kind of let go.
So, as you let go, the camera now is above your right shoulder. We watch and look down from your point of view at this person. We see the man with the hat laying down, and the camera slowly pans over your shoulders behind you, and the figure in front of you becomes obscured by your head and your hat, and it goes to your left side. But before we can take a look at the figure below, the camera pans up to a scene around you. Victor, there's a crowd looking at you. This crowd is starting to move slowly towards your direction. Rosie, you're running down the hallway, just leaving your husband behind. He is screaming your name. You decided to move on and leave him behind.
I wanted to bring him with me.
You wanted to bring him with you?
If there's... In this moment, I'm not prioritizing what I want. I'm prioritizing what I think needs to be done. And isn't that what he did? I was hoping that's what he would do too.
So you would rather think about helping those friends around you than being with a person who is trying to take you away to safety?
Isn't that what he did?
Is it?
It's too late now. If it wasn't,
Are you sure?
I haven't been sure of anything in a very long time.
As you're running down this hallway, the hallway seems to stretch on forever. You can hear the clicking of your heels on the tile floor. Your footsteps go down this long hallway, and you reach finally the ballroom. You're at the top of the footsteps looking down, and you see Victor hunched over. And you see two other people in the ballroom as well. You see Echo and Myra. Echo is far off to the one side of the ballroom, and you see Myra on the other. And now we switch over to Vivi. Vivi, you are running. The last thing you've heard from your lover? Officer? Was run. What's going through your mind right now?
I'm following orders. I'm getting the heck out of there. If he told me to run, there's a very specific reason as to why I needed to run. I'm not looking back. I don't look for my circle at all. I don't think they looked for me at all. So I'm just gonna keep running.
As you're running, you're noticing something. You're getting through this crowd rather quickly. Everyone is standing still.
I slow down to take in the scene for a second. Can I push someone real quick?
Absolutely.
What happens?
They sway.
I put my hand like in front of their face, like, hello?
And we're gonna cut to Echo. Echo, you just saw Dr. Diantha and her sister. Her sister has her husband's knife up to her throat. You pushed her sister out of the way. You notice that Annie, or you assume it's Annie, ran up the stairs in Mason in hot pursuit. The knife slides across the floor. What do you do?
I lunge for it. So Echo's kind of bombarded with oh shoot, there's Alice. Oh shoot, Diantha's in danger. And so in this moment, lunges for the knife to pick it up so that Diantha's sister cannot. And then we'll try to pivot, I think, to run up towards Alice.
As you scatter across the floor and the knife slides, you can hear it scrape against the tile wood floor. It's the black and white tile that you see sliding across this floor. You hear the scraping of metal against tile. You pick up the knife. Right behind you, it's Diantha's sister. Myra, we come back to you. The last thing you remember hearing is, paint the roses red. What does that mean to you?
Only ever seen in black and white, so I'm not particularly sure what it means. But it's interesting.
What is interesting?
The idea of playing with color.
What about color fascinates you?
It's different to every person, we have labels for each one. But they say that not everybody's shade of red is the same.
You hear laughter behind you. And we cut back to Vivi. Vivi, you're waving your hand in front of this person. You're not going to need to roll, because this is pretty evident when you look at them. And this goes for everyone else in the room. Victor, Echo, Myra, Cecily. You can see these people, and they're not blinking. And they have a smile, driven from ear to ear. They take a step forward towards you. Vivi, we're gonna go to you first. What do you do?
Is it an aggressive step towards me or a passive?
It's more of a step, is the best way to take it. When you're marching, it's more of a marching order step.
And all of them that are in the vicinity come towards me.
Yes, they're encroaching you.
Cute. Okay. If I may, looking at my gear, I'd like to pull out my bleed detector. 'Cause I'd like to scan to see if there's bleed in the area.
Absolutely. You're not going to need to take that out because you're going to go ahead and take a bleed for me as you feel the essence of bleed as this person encroaches on you.
Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look up at my surroundings. Did I make it outside of the ballroom? One.
No.
Okay, so I'm still in the ballroom. How high is the ceiling?
Ceiling is about 30 feet is what I remember saying last time.
Okay, so that's where my tightrope was at, basically.
Correct,
It was like,
yes.
Okay, great. Looking around surroundings, my aim is to get up and out of the way. Is there anything that I can climb up onto?
Yes, so there's a wall towards your right. There seems to be a clear path. Almost very, what's the word? What do the cool kids say nowadays? They hop, skip, and jump up over.
Yeah,
over
parkour jump?
Parkour jump. You can make a parkour jump pretty easily up to the second floor if you'd like to do so.
Awesome. So knowing that, so they're not aggressive towards me.
Not yet.
I'm going to go ahead and take a step back again, like very dancey, kind of like a sweep to see if they kind of follow what I'm doing.
Sure.
Do they take a step forward with me?
Yes.
Excellent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep inching back, not aggressive, not nothing, as far that I can to the wall, and just where I can kind of like feel the wall like kind of behind me.
Sure.
I kind of do this little flare. In my hand, I have part of my gear is a flash powder. So it's like almost a flashbang that happens, and I just drop it to make it look like I'm escaping.
Perfect.
And I jump up the wall and get the heck out of there.
Absolutely. So there should be a roll that you can make for me. It's a move roll. If you have any of that in your dice.
Do.
Perfect. Go ahead and roll for me. While we wait for that to be resolved, we're going to jump to Echo. Echo, you're fighting for this knife. You pick it up. She turns around, or you turn around, excuse me, and you see Diantha's sister in front of you. The words that come out of her mouth are not said out loud, but in your head. Drop it.
No.
Who do you think you are?
I don't know. Who are you?
Go figure.
Just playing mind game.
Go figure. You still don't understand your own power, do you?
Echo, I think the stance that Echo is currently taking with the knife in her hand is that she has the knife in one hand and she has her other hand kind of out in front of her.
Sure.
Like she's trying to be aggressive, but very clearly also doesn't want to hurt anybody, but also does not understand what would be the strategic kind of good move in this situation.
Sure.
And so she hears this kind of inclination that Diantha's sister may understand her abilities more than she does, and her head cocks a little bit in like curiosity.
That's right. I do know who and what you are.
What is that supposed to mean?
Put it down and we can chat a little further.
Is Diantha in my line of sight?
Yes, she is. She's looking straight at you.
How is she reacting to this? Can she hear any of this?
This is in your head. She can't hear anything.
You said she's walking towards me?
She's trying to get towards you, yes.
Okay.
Eleonora is her name. You've heard it before, as Diantha has told you on the way over in the carriage.
Eleonora. I will look at Eleonora's eyes, specifically, and kind of try to connect in that way to her. And I say, kind of through this mind meld, what do you want with your sister?
That's family business. And we're gonna go ahead to Vivi. Vivi, what was your roll?
It was 5.
All right, you have a mixed success. You're gonna successfully jump onto the second floor. As you land, your heel breaks.
Of course.
Oof.
You can go barefoot, or you can break the other heel. It's up to you.
Well, I'm a circus performer, so I'm much better at going barefooted, and I probably still have my wraps on, so I just chuck the other shoe.
Perfect. We're gonna go and go to Cecily. Cecily, you are on the top. You see everybody moving in synchronous with each other. You watch as Victor just finished beating the hell out of this guy. This is not something you've seen Victor do before.
Is there any noise going on in here? Is there still any music going, people talking, or is it silent?
Dead silent.
I am going to stop at the top there. I think the vantage point is going to be good for me rather than getting into the thick of it, and I am going to call out knowing that he will be able to hear me if he is present.
Sure.
Where's M? At Victor. But everybody would hear it, I imagine.
Oh, yeah. Victor, you see the smiles in the eyes from everyone. You also felt a hand on your shoulder before. Mm-hmm. When you look back, you see Kaz. He looks down at you and says, "Now is not the time."
Then when is the time? He's right here.
Myra, we go to you. Tick-tock, says the clock. Make your choice. Don't you want to see her again? I know why.
Don't ignore me. You think you can hide like you did before? No. It's time to make a choice. Do you want to see her again? Or do you just want to play the puppet?
Is she alive?
Depends on your definition.
Then I'll rephrase. Is she still her?
She's never lost her touch.
Then hand me the paint.
Gladly.
We move on to Livy. You have made it to the second floor. You see Cecily. She just screamed out, "Where is M?" You know where M is. You saw her. She was taken. What do you say?
I actually don't say anything to Cecily. I'm gonna like, how close is she?
I would say she's about 20 feet away.
Awesome. I'm gonna run and tackle her down to the ground.
All right. We're gonna go ahead and roll a strike roll for that one. And Cecily, you're gonna go ahead and roll a move roll for that. And while
Okay.
we resolve that, we're gonna go to Victor. Victor. You look up at Kaz and you notice it's him. Kaz flesh, at least the Kaz you know. When you look over to the people around you, you notice they're inching closer and closer. When you look down, you notice something. Hatter is truly there. But he took out a pocket watch. And he is turning a knob counterclockwise. You have one action. What do you do?
I'm going to quickly reach down there and grab it. If I only have the action, it's going to grab that stopwatch. If I could, I'd also slug it one more time. But
Sure. Go ahead and roll a strike for me. We're going to go back to Vivi and Cecily. What was your results?
So I have a 0 in move, and I got 2 1s.
Perfect. Great. Wonderful. That's fantastic. Vivi?
I got a critical.
Awesome. Explain to me how you take down Cecily. And Cecily, you're going to go ahead and take 2 body while you hit the floor.
That sounds absolutely correct.
Vivi is very dexterous, so it's not like she was like trying to like slam into you and like hurt you. It's a quick like hand over like mouth and like drop down.
And it was completely unexpected for me.
Yeah.
I think the masquerade mask that I have with its beak, the beak does like fully smash into the ground, smash into my face.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. I'm trying to keep her quiet, and I just whisper in her ear, I know where M went. Stay quiet.
I'm in pain. I try not to make a sound.
Perfect. Echo, we go to you before we go to Victor. What is it that you decide to do?
Echo's kind of list of priorities in her head are keep Diantha safe from whoever the frick this is. I mean, like, she knows who this is, but also, like, they're mysterious and weird, and that's generally, in her experience, not good. And then, kind of as a follow-up, figure out what's going on with Annie, because that presence has now, like, is moving kind of away, and that's kind of always a thing that she's concentrated on. But in this moment, she's kind of connected with Eleonora, and she's trying to, I think she's trying to use this kind of mental melding. She's trying to dig through what Eleonora is sharing mentally with her.
Sure.
And trying to, like, reach further than she is allowed to potentially answer the question of, what do you know about me?
I love that. We're going to answer that question, but we're going to go back to Victor here real quick. Victor, what did you roll?
Rolled a 6.
Perfect. I love that. All right. So you successfully slug him in the face, but just a little too late. As you see the Hatter now look up at you, and you feel weightlessness start to take over. You feel as though time starts to reverse itself. You hear now a voice in your head.
Your hands to yourself.
You watch as he pulls back, and in almost a rhythmic way, lift himself off the floor without even an effort. You watch him wipe the blood away from his face, and he looks at you and says,
Always chasing ghosts, are you?
You're right in fucking front of me. I don't see a ghost, but we can change that real quick.
Let me show you what I mean.
he's going to wave his hand, and a mirror will fall in front of you. Victor, you see a top hat, a jacket, pinstripe suit, but it's not him. What do you see?
In the mirror, I think I might see myself in that.
You do.
I'm holding the cane. I'm wearing the suit. I have the top hat on.
Why? Now you hear without any voice in particular, but his normal voice. ¿Por qué siempre está persiguiéndome? Why are you always trying to follow me?
Because innocent people went missing and died horrific deaths. You took somebody very close to me. And I don't know what happened to him, but I guarantee you I will find out. And I'm gonna take you down.
Do you recall missing time?
I'll think back to the days where I would just not sleep. I would be going through cases. I would be examining every piece of evidence, trying to figure out who could have done it. My initial thoughts were this was a group. This couldn't have been one person to be able to do what they were doing. No, but it ended up coming out to be one person, at least I think. And then as time went on, my drive to figure out what was happening would cause me to spend days and days without going to sleep before I finally crashed. Even so much to the point where I had to resign because of a scuffle after a week of no sleep, and I got into it with my commander.
You recognize and realize that there are pieces of time missing from you. Time that you can't recall and remember where they went. And we cut to Vivi. Vivi, you have tackled Cecily, and in your head, you can hear the Hatter's voice. Querida, times is going to get a little wonky. But hold on to your hat.
She lets go of Cicely and puts her hand on her head.
As she does so, the room topsy-turvies, and now all of you watch as the floor becomes the ceiling, and the ceiling becomes the floor. You also notice the statues that were around this location. Myra, you look across towards a statue, and you look away for just a second. And you notice when they come back, and you look back at where the statue was, it's no longer there. You notice also the tapestry on the wall has people with masks that didn't have before. And you hear the voice in your head once again.
Now, time is on your side. It looks like. I will return, and you have a choice to make. See her again, or
notice that the voice is no longer there and disappears. Vivi, we go back to you. You now are falling graciously to where the ceiling is. The same goes for everyone else. However, once you touch the ceiling, you feel an immense power, an immense amount of bleed and pressure fills the room. All of you take 2 bleed.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
What happens when you hit? Yeah, I was like, yep.
So, we're gonna go and around the room and start thinking about how bleed affects you as an individual and how it manifests in this world as your character. Bleed affects each one of you differently, so there is no right or wrong answer for this. And also think of a name. While we guys think of that, we're gonna go to Echo. So, here is my question for all of you, including Echo. The question you asked before, what was it?
What do you know?
You're going to see, and this is flashed to everyone's brain at the same time, a conversation between Diantha and her sister. And Diantha's sister, Eleonora, is talking to her, telling her that there is a way to manifest bleed in certain situations. Bleed is something that is radiated from magic. And if used properly, this is something that can be used as a weapon. You can see Diantha's face of disgust and anger. And you can hear Diantha say no, she would not deal with this. You can feel now the rage from Eleonora. All of you feel this anger. Myra, this is a lot more on you. You feel anger, hatred, jealousy. And you watch all of this happen, and it smashed this vial on the ground, telling Diantha all she does is think about herself. You could also see as it fast forward a couple of days, maybe months, who knows. But you can watch as a person walks in with a pin on their lapel. You all know this pin very well. It's the Candela pin. You can see a younger Kaz walk into the room and take this girl and put her in the 4th Pharos. And you're pushed back into reality, Echo.
There is a single bead of blood running down her forehead. There doesn't appear to be like a wound source of it, but it's kind of like that feeling of when you have a really intense headache where you can feel where it's from, but it seems to have physically manifested as this bead of blood that is staining her hair as it goes down her hair. Just in the front, just a whole strip. And in her head, she feels it as this intense just pain in the front of her head as she's still trying to probe. She's still trying to figure out what that has to do with her.
Sure. You hear a conversation again. She lets you continue to dive deeper. And you also start to feel probing from other members of your circle. Inside of your mind. Myra, there's a door in front of you. Do you open it?
Of course.
Echo, you feel someone enter your mind.
Can I tell who, or is it just like a presence?
You could tell it's Myra.
Ah. Also, is it clear to me that Eleonora is allowing me to probe further?
Yes.
Okay. I am big suspicious.
Sure.
But I'm also very curious and currently less concerned with the consequences as they fall back on me.
Sure.
And so if kind of not that I need to allow Myra access, but if allowing Myra gives me kind of more push into
Sure.
Eleonora, then I will do so.
Sure. Myra, that question is asked on you. Do you assist?
Do I feel like I'm here for a reason?
You tell me. The door appeared in front of you, and you opened it.
Let's keep going.
With that assist, I will to let you know, Echo, that by probing further into her mind, you will take 2 brain. Myra, you will take 2 brain.
I'm out again.
That is 2 scars now. Cecily, we go to you. You raised your hand earlier. Does that mean you have a scar?
Does.
What does that mean for Cecily?
I think with this being a bleed scar and being pressed so close to the floor and then falling up to the ceiling now as this pressure is pressing down on her and this mask is pressed into her face, I think it is no longer able to be removed. Her nose is bleeding underneath it, and this is not something that I think anyone in the circle would realize until later. I am moving a point from sway, from her natural charm, openness, her way of talking to people and asking them those questions and getting them to want to answer. I'm moving that into focus, as she is just disregarding the things that don't matter right now, and she needs to figure out what is going on here.
You notice, Cecily, is the presence of your husband is no longer there. He is completely gone. You can try to reach out to him, and I would make you roll for it. But that choice is yours.
I think it's less of a conscious decision and more of a desperation. She feels the pain of this scar. She feels the mask pressing into her face. She feels her nose is probably all messed up behind it. This is a moment of fear and desperation, and I think she does.
Go ahead and roll a focus roll for me. Vivi, we go to you. You took your first scar. What does that mean for Vivi?
I think Vivi's really distraught right now. She didn't think she would ever get hurt like this before, especially with her loved one trying to protect her.
There's a voice that you hear in your head. And that voice is from Francisco. What are you doing still here?
What are you doing controlling all these people? I tried to get out.
Querida, that's not me.
Then the floating, was that you?
You hear a hesitation of desperation in his voice. See. Yes.
Then you did this to me. And she like pulls her hands away, and she has scars that are like tears that are coming down her skin, and it's burning it, but it's like super shimmery coming down.
I never meant to hurt you. There are other people in play, Señorita. I tried to get you out. Your brother had other...
Stop this madness then.
I need to go down this rabbit hole because if not, we're all in danger.
And so you'll drag me down with you.
You'll be in my arms safer this way than I am if I let you go. Vivi, take notice around you. Use your training. I know you're hurting.
You can't just leave me here with them. I don't know what to do here.
You feel almost a spectral presence next to you. You can feel the Hatter's presence. He's not physically there. He reaches out to your hand and grasps it. I am not leaving you.
Then leave my brother alone and let's leave.
I'm trying to save your brother, but he's too damn stubborn.
Then let him fall to his own devices.
That's your blood.
That's my bane.
As you wish. At this moment, Victor, instead of falling slowly to the floor, you feel gravity take hold of you.
Oh, fuck.
And you fall towards the ceiling. Not too high, but enough to tweak your ankle. So you're gonna take a body.
Okay. And that's a scar.
So, Myra, you had raised your hand as well that you took a scar, no?
I took 2.
You took 2 scars. Describe to me what that means for Myra.
So the first was the bleed, and it has manifested both in a way that is unnoticeable to anyone looking at her and just barely noticeable. A vine of thorns has started to encircle itself around her heart and just barely pierce through where that would be here. And the second was a brain scar, where this vine has now continued up through, up along the top of her skin towards her neck, following the artery that flows from the heart. And little baby buds, little baby red rosebuds have started to sprout along the vine.
You've had a choice now where you're diving in with Echo. Echo's looking for answers. Do you continue to dive further?
Did we get any from the first dive?
Negative.
He either wanted me to paint the roses, or he wanted to paint the roses with me. So we'll keep going.
A door appears in front of you. You have now a choice to continue to go with Echo or travel into the next door.
What color's the door?
Red.
We go through the door.
Echo, you feel the presence of Myra. Do you look back?
Yes.
When you look back, you can see Myra is looking at a red door appeared in your mind. What does that mean to you?
That could mean so many things to Echo. Echo has such a lack of understanding of herself on a deeper level that having someone else kind of walking around in her mind, opening doors to other places is such like a foreign, it's so foreign to her. And I think in a more literal sense, it has the same feeling as like when you're hypnotized and like the hypnotist is able to like get you to say things or do things that you otherwise wouldn't. Echo has this like fleeting moment of concern that like this door is about to reveal things about her that even she doesn't know or that she's not prepared to reveal. But her main concern is still, what does Eleonora know?
Sure.
Because at the very least, she has a modicum of trust in Myra. Like just like if like she's making the decision between like don't trust at all and don't trust slightly less,
Sure.
and so she kind of like files away this concern and turns back, cut forward, and keeps going.
Okay. Myra, you open the door. You are exiting Echo's mind. You're heading into a memory of your own, locked away for a very long time. You see in front of you a person you recognize. But first you see a name on the door. Connie. Victor, we're going to continue with you. Victor, you just fell 5
Yes.
feet
I did.
to the ceiling. Everything around, yeah, 5 feet.
Okay.
Not too far.
Not big. That's not big.
That's too bad. Maybe a tweaked ankle, if that.
Limp around a little bit, it'll be right.
So, we are going to notice some things around you as the camera is now your best friend. Everyone around you in your circle sees Victor as he was, as he looked in the mirror before this all went to hell. Victor, you still see yourself in the top hat, the pinstripe, and the cane. And now you notice the statues. You notice when you're looking at them, they stay still. But the moment that you look away, it vanishes. You then turn around, and in front of you is a statue, fanged, with its hand outreached. You also notice that half of its body is in the tapestry, and the other half is out. You have a decision to make. You see your sister. She seems to be having a conversation with someone inside her head. You see Myra, and you see Echo. You also see Cecily. Cecily's pretty injured. What do you decide to do?
Is he gone?
He's still there. You take your eyes off of him, we don't know.
I think what Victor's going to do, still staring at the statue that's in front of him, he's going to slowly back away, maintaining that eye contact. But he's going to maneuver himself in the direction toward Cecily and Vivi. Because right now the thing that he wants to do is get his sister out of here.
Roll a focus roll for me, and we're gonna go to Echo. Echo, we're back with you inside your mind. You are probing. You're continuing to probe. You're trying to find answers. Echo, there's a door in front of you. Do you open that door?
Yes.
Are you sure?
I think in this moment, Echo has kind of decided that consequences are consequences, and she's going to get an answer out of this regardless of what the consequence is.
Sure.
Even if it's just a small answer, she's going to get an answer before she lets up, and so she will open this door.
Sure. As you open this door and the door creaks, you're found with a younger version of yourself. And your father and your mother. And in your head, you hear, Eleonora, you wanted answers. Why don't you ask them yourself?
Echo takes a moment, kind of standing face to face with this younger version of herself. She takes a moment to kind of clock all the visual differences between tiny her and current her. How like her fingertips aren't all shriveled and black like they are now. How her hair isn't all stained like it is now. Is her eye the same?
Mm-hmm.
She kind of looks at her eye for a moment, kind of feels up to her own eye, and then looks up at these kind of projections of her parents, I think is how she's considering it, because her real parents aren't here in this apparition's mind. Her real parents are out there in the real world, and they haven't really cared. And so she's looking at these projections that presumably will answer a question if she throws it at them. So she tries. And she looks at her kind of what would be her dad in the eyes and says, "What am I?"
You're my daughter.
You know what I mean. What happened? Why did you choose to lock me away for so long? Why couldn't I have just been normal?
But you are.
Am I? And she kind of pulls her hat off, like very dramatically, and just goes, "Am I?"
Your father looks at you and, in a very genuine way, concerning as a father should. You've always been my daughter. I've not seen anything abnormal about you.
She's gonna kind of point herself in her mom's direction. And I guess is trying to see if she's reacting any differently than her dad is.
She's looking towards the wall. What would be a wall?
Echo sighs this very deep, very heavy, like, it's always the same. It's always the same, pretending like nothing's wrong. It's always the same, acting like everything is perfectly normal when it so very clearly isn't. And that pretend, that game of pretend is what has made her so scared of isolation, because in her head, everything is an act. In her head, everything is a facade. And to have someone see through that facade, to see her for who she is terrifying. And for all she knows, her parents have pretended that facade was real, just to pretend that everything's fine and dandy. And so she looks over at her mom and kind of sees that her mom is kind of staring off to the side, looks back at her dad, sighs this big, heavy, like disappointed sigh of, I wish I was surprised that this is how you answer. I wish I was surprised that this is the way that even this projection of my father is responding to me. And she tries to connect with Eleonora and say, do you have anything different to add?
Eleonora will respond back. You are always special. You knew that. And you hid away from the world. The difference between you and I is that I embrace mine. What do you want to do?
I want to keep my friends safe. I want to keep my family safe. And I want absolutely nothing to do with you. And she's going to push completely all the way back out as she can.
Go ahead and roll a focus roll for me. And Vivi, I know, Victor, we still need to resolve your stuff, but we're going to go to Vivi real quick. Vivi, the conversation that you're having with the Hatter, you can feel his spectral presence near you. You don't need to roll for this because you can feel that he's genuinely sorry. You think back to moments before all of this happened, and for a glimpse moment, you saw Francisco again. He stood in front of you, and he protected you from a shadow that you couldn't see. He asked you to run. This time you weren't fast enough to get out. Do you still blame Francisco for what has happened?
No, because she knows that he was protecting her.
Francisco takes off his top hat and tosses it into the void. Takes off his mask. And he grasps your hand. Querida. I don't want any of this to happen, but there are things in play. I gave you the Queen of Hearts earlier. Somebody's missing it.
Missing what?
Their queen.
Who could possibly be? Stop speaking in riddles. You help me figure this out.
At that particular moment in time, all of you hear a gunshot. And we will take a break and come back after this. All right, y'all, we're gonna go jump right back into this right now. So, as we move back in after a gunshot is heard, Vivi, you notice something. You notice Hatter is hunched over. You can see from the spectral image, it looks like he's been shot. What do you do?
Vivi immediately goes over to the edge of the banister, to look real time over the area.
When you look over the area, you can see that Hatter is hunched over, and in front of him is a person with a hat, a cane, and a scar. You can't hear the conversation because it's a little out of reach. But what you can tell from their body language as being a spy is that they're pissed.
Is Hatter moving at all?
He's in pain, hunched over.
But he's moving.
Yes.
Okay. Because Vivi would scream if he wasn't moving. So it was one of those for movie reference, the Kill Bill moment where the little girl goes to scream, but she captures the animation to that's she kind of does. It's kind of gathers that, but she's very intently watching, almost to the point that if something happens, she probably would make a dive off of the banister down.
Sure. Victor, you're moving away. What was it your role?
I got a 3.
As you move back, your eyes get watery. Tell me how you fail to look at this thing.
I imagine that as I'm walking back and I'm slowly heading towards that direction, towards Vivi, I'm more than likely I step wrong, which causes, especially after the fall I just took, catches that bad ankle, and it'll cause me just to fall back, and I'll as soon as I land, I close my eyes and I open it right back up.
As you close your eyes and open it back up, you notice the statue is centimeters away from your face. It's got you pinned to the floor.
As soon as that happens, I'm shouting out, Vivi, help!
Vivi, do you do anything?
Where's Hatter in the situation? Is he there too?
Hatter is in front of you. You can see your brother down the steps to the right. You can see the statue has got him pinned to the floor. But you also see Hatter hunched over. And you start to see blood drip down his pant leg.
How far are they from each other?
They're a good 40 to 50 feet away.
Oh, oh man. Ah, she goes to Hatter.
Do you have anything on you that could help you in this situation to possibly get this thing off of your brother? You still have a third item.
Boop, 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 boop.
I mean, I have all my magician's gear and I have my. I mean, okay, like I'm an escape artist, so theoretically, I could easily get Victor out and still go help Francisco if that's possible.
Sure. Tell me how you do it.
How pinned is my brother?
This thing's centimeters away from his face.
Oh, but so like not physically pinned, just like it's coming at him.
So think of a push-up, and the thing is literally centimeters away from his face.
And it's a statue?
It's a statue.
Okay. Permission, storyteller.
Sure.
What I would like to do is, because she is very dexterous, she sees Francisco and like needs to figure out a way to get down.
Sure.
She jumps off of the banister and she's gonna basically like kind of try to land in a straddle that's like coming up and over the neck of the statue.
Sure.
As she's doing that, I would like to take some sort of twine.
Okay.
Hopefully it's metal, and
Sure.
as she's coming down using her spy technique, kind of hooking it under the statue's neck, so when she uses her weight to fall, she's
Sure.
gonna basically pop the head of the statue off.
That's cool as fuck. I'm gonna make you roll for this.
I figured.
I want you to roll. I don't want to do strike. Let's do finesse.
You would put that in the one category that I have the one dot in, instead of like move or something where I have more dots there.
Yeah, we're gonna do finesse because you're trying to specifically straddle this thing and rip its head off, and it's very precise because if you miss, you're missing by quite a few yards.
I think I'm reading this right. I got a 3 on the gilded.
Yes, that means you fail.
That's cute. That's cute.
Yeah, that means you fail. Now, I'm gonna have you. I normally don't do this, but this is a very high stakes roll, and I should have said that before, so I take the blame on this. Victor, you can lend your sister a drive if you can explain to me how you assist.
If I'm able to catch out of the corner of my eye what she's trying to do, I'm going to essentially bring my legs in and put it to where I believe may be the center point of it.
Sure.
And try and use my legs and leverage it to essentially help try and push it off.
Okay. Vivi, roll a d6 for me.
I don't trust any of the electronic ones here, so I'm gonna roll my own d6. Lo siento.
Yes.
That is a mood right there.
Yes.
Ha 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 ha. 5.
Okay. Hey, it's still a success. It's a mixed success, but it's still a success. So here's what happens. I want you to describe to me, Vivi and Victor, together, how you guys successfully pushed this statue off of Victor.
Yeah, so I think Vivi slow-mo cam, right, drops down, and as she's doing that, hooks the twine. It's almost like metal to like put underneath the chin of the statue, and just like butter, she just like cuts it like a knife, and you just see the head kind of like lob off. And as she's still falling, hit me if I'm wrong here, Victor, but like your legs kind of like catch Vivi's fall almost.
Yeah.
And she kind of like rolls out towards Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
Utilizing Victor's like body weight, capturing her and rolling her out, and she's gonna roll towards Francisco and try to like scoop him.
And the way that we do it, it almost looks like it's rehearsed. This isn't the first time we've done something like this. You can tell very much so this is a normal thing. This is almost like a normal thing for us. We've done this probably more times than this one instance.
Perfect. I love that so much. Victor, you effortlessly almost give your sister momentum to continue the direction of where Francisco is. As you do so, you watch the head roll off to the floor. And when it does so, it looks and blinks and smiles. As Vivi, you run in the direction of Francisco, you watch also this headless statue do a push-up and makes its way up, looking for its head. You see Francisco in front of you, hunched over, and you now see a knife being pulled by this man with the cane. Cecily, you're up top. You reach out to Glenn. There's no response.
I focus on what's still here around me. What am I closest to? What's going on here? I cannot let myself get back into this right now. There will be time later. And if there's not, maybe I'll see him again. But right now, he's not here. That's back to normal, honestly. So what's going on around me?
What you see around you is Vivi jumping off and straddling a statue, cutting its head off like butter, and then catapulting themselves towards Francisco. You don't know who Francisco is. You don't know who that guy is. What you do know is that he's hunched over, and she is running towards him. You do see a man with a hat and a cane pulling a knife on this guy. But then you hear a voice. Do you want to see him again?
I don't think she's able to think about it. I think it is that instinctual again. I don't think she thinks the word yes so much as it's just like that reflexive response.
Who took him away from you? Or what took him away from you?
All of this whole hidden world, Candela, magic, phenomena, all of this, the fourth pharaohs, all of it.
Then we have something in common. We need to bring those that hide in the shadows to the light.
Who's hiding? What's hiding? Show me.
You are.
I've joined the shadows since Glenn left. Is that right?
You've always been in the shadows, have you not?
I was kept in the dark.
Kept? Or decided not to pay attention?
I didn't want to think he was hiding from me. I didn't want to think he was keeping things from me. I thought that he was telling me how do we bring it to light then?
Let me finish what I've started.
I will. Again, in the middle of this scene where there's violence going on and I could do something to be more helpful, I'm just going to pull out my camera again and try to take a photo of what's going on here and just stand by and watch and plan on getting out.
You're more useful in the grave. Or so said Glenn. Do with that as you will. We go to Echo. Echo. You have in front of you the scene with your family.
Mm-hmm.
You just got told by Eleanor that you are special.
Mm-hmm.
You've been seen by someone. You shoved her away. What was the result?
6.
As you shove Eleanor out of your brain, out of your psyche, you can hear a scream as she is shoved out of your brain. When you come to, you notice that Diantha has been stabbed and the knife is no longer in your possession. What do you do?
I think Echo gets hung up for just a brief moment on the image of her younger self as she kind of fades all the way back out. And that younger self kind of just standing there nervously, not understanding anything that's happening around them. And she's kind of like, she's trying to abstractify her feelings about what it was like growing up by like looking at it from she's looking at them. She's not experiencing them, she's looking at them. And that image kind of sits there in her head as she watches this tiny child her do the little fidget that she learned to do at a very early age when she's feeling stressed or when she's feeling nervous. And as she kind of snaps back into her mind, back into reality, as her eyes fall upon Diantha stabbed, Echo, I think Echo like halts for a moment. Because she had one thing she was trying to do, which was keep Diantha safe, and she didn't do that. So she kind of halts for a moment as she just allows the information of what is happening around her to just into her brain.
Sure. As you do that, you do notice that the one person that you were trying to protect is safe. Diantha's husband is okay. You did manage to save someone. However, Eleanor is nowhere to be found. You do look around, but also Diantha's in front of you, reassures you that they're all right. They can take care of themselves. They're a doctor. What do you decide to do?
Is Alice still visible, or have they walked all the way away?
They have walked all the way away.
Echo sits down and looks at Diantha and says, I know you can take care of yourself, but you shouldn't have to be the only one taking care of you. And she kind of takes Diantha's hand in hers and looks her in the eyes and just goes, I tried.
She does a reassuring nod. And she goes to reach for your hair to kind of help you whisk away any sweat, blood, or tears from you. But holds back. She reassures you and whispers something in your ear. That will be told in a different story. So we will go back now to Victor. Victor, you just saw your sister run towards the one person that you've been looking for. You didn't realize it before, but now you do. What do you decide to do?
Is the person that shot him still there? Or, yes, shot him. Is the weapon visible?
The weapon is visible. There's a smoking gun in his hand.
Fantastic. I'm going to reach into my coat because I have my revolver holstered up there, and I'm gonna pull it out, and I'm gonna look between the man that shot him, Vivi, and the man I've been chasing after all these years.
Who's that man?
For a moment, as I look at him, weapon drawn, pointed towards him, again I see myself. Before I move it over to the left and I shoot the one that shot him.
Go ahead and roll for me, Myra. You stepped through that door. The door was red. And the name that came up is Connie. When you look around the room, you don't see her.
Else in the room?
No one else is in the room. But you do hear a small sound. The sound that you hear is one you've heard before. Laughter. A children's melody. The one melody that is sang over and over again, learned where you stay. Why is that sung?
Never asked why.
At the orphanage, there is some information that is well known by Victor. And those who work in the shadows. The orphanage is an orphanage. However, beneath it, it's a whole different story. In the ruins of New Fair, there is a group called the Pyre who deal with the supernatural, the weird and the strange. You found this place before. As a child, you were warned never to go beyond that door. You've opened that door multiple times now. And as you start to think about this, you turn around and you hear the door slam. What do you do?
If I came into this room and I saw her name, what did I see it on?
Her door.
Can I open her door?
You can.
Then I will.
As you enter the door, you see Connie. Connie's older now. She grabs you by the hand. It's so nice to see you. I was afraid I lost you.
Are you real?
She reassures you. Of course. What wouldn't I be?
Does she feel real?
As real as she can be.
Where are you?
I don't know.
You want to be where you are.
I don't want to be here anymore.
I'll find you, one way or another, and you won't be. But you've got to give me something to let me know where to find you.
Mother's coming.
Which one?
The one we were warned about.
Hide. You were always good at that. Hide until I find you instead of her.
I don't know. And she could see her hyperventilate. And basically, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to break your eardrums, but she's going to yell. And she's going to push you away as she yells. Snap you back into reality. In front of you, you see a pair of shears. These were the shears that M was holding onto before she was taken away. Due to the gravity flipping upside down, they were on the floor, but now they're on the ceiling in front of you. How did that nursery rhyme go?
Am I on the floor and they are on the ceiling, or am I on the ceiling as well?
You're on the ceiling as well.
Have they changed color?
No.
Well, I guess she doesn't need them anymore. So I'll pick them up.
Now we go to Cecily. Cecily, you see Myra snap out of this trance that she's been in for quite a while. You can see that she picks up the shears, and you also see Victor aim his gun towards the two people in the middle of the floor. You see Vivi is still in pursuit, closing in on what's going on. As you take out your camera and you snap the picture, you're not sure where Victor is aiming his gun at, as Vivi is also in the way. What do you do?
I have a question. Is the statue still not moving
Oh, it did the
when
push up.
people are... Okay, it's moving when people are not looking at it. Okay.
Yep, its cover is blown, so it's moving.
Excellent. Okay, cool. Oh. Ideally, I don't want to... Everybody should make it out. I don't know who here is setting events into motion. I don't want Vivi to get hurt. I don't want Victor to get hurt. I don't want anybody here to get hurt. Somebody, even these people who are strangers to me, I don't want whoever was speaking to me to get hurt either.
Sure.
And I don't know which of them it was. I think I am going to take a page from Vivi's book and screw the photo. I am going to go and try and knock Victor and get him to get his arm up. Basically like a full body hug, trying to press his arm up instead of out.
Sure. Victor, what did you roll?
I got a 6.
CC. Roll a move for me.
Absolutely, I would love to. I have no drive and nerve, and I have 0 in move.
Perfect. We're gonna go to Vivi. Vivi, you are running in pursuit. You don't notice what is going on behind you as your brother is now upstanding with a gun pointed in your general direction. You see the Hatter now is hunched over, and you see a knife. What is it that you want to do?
I have some more magician gear, particularly a hidden weapon.
Sure.
Again, if I can flavor, and not necessarily be a weapon, but basically, as most magicians would have, is a magic cape. Mm-hmm. And in this case, I believe that Vivi, having her background, would have, they're called Isis wings. So they're kind of like very, very old school, like belly dancer looking wings. But basically those kind of like out of her costume, she basically holds them up as she slides into view around Francisco and kind of like covers him with the cape. But because it's her hidden weapon, I would love it if it was made out of material that is possibly like bulletproof or like resistant to like any sort of stabbing.
Sure. Absolutely. I definitely think it's bulletproof. I don't know if it's stabby proof, but it is bulletproof.
I'll take something.
Yeah, I'll give it full of bulletproof. All right, I like the flavor where it's going here. Cecily, what did you roll?
I got a 2 and a 3, and we have to take the 2. Not that it matters.
All right, perfect. Love this. Victor.
I do as well.
Victor, your gun goes off as you see yourself pull this trigger. Cecily goes in front of you. And you fire.
Fuck.
Cecily, you take a gunshot wound. It grazes your shoulder, so you don't take the full-on brunt. However, you do take a body for that. The bullet is now going in the air as you see that Cecily has obscured your vision. Vivi, you take out the cape, protecting the person you love in front of you as you whisk it away as this person tries to stab Francisco. You do successfully get the cape in front of him before the knife touches Francisco. But the camera is still moving along with this bullet that's been shot by your brother. You hear the gunshot behind you and you feel a searing pain in your leg. As you take this gunshot, you look down. It's just a flesh wound, nothing severely hurting you. But you do take a body. This bullet continues to move along the side. And Victor, you watch as someone hunches over on the other side of this ballroom. Echo. You watch all of this happen in front of you, and as you see Diantha's husband next to you, you watch as blood trickles out of his shoulder. The gun has grazed 2 people and has shot Diantha's husband, now in front of you. You have a choice to make. Diantha seems to be okay, but now her husband needs help, and so do your friends. What do you decide to do?
Who is the person in the room right now with the most urgent injury?
So you can do a recheck to see how hurt her husband is. You can do a recheck to find out if the husband is doing all right, and I will also say that will count for reading the room as well. So while you roll for that, I'll go back to Vivi. Vivi, you've been shot. Do you look behind you?
I think adrenaline is coursing enough that she's focused on Francisco, but she does do a quick, where did that come from? But, her training is kicked in right now. She's
Perfect.
full spy mode.
You do notice that Victor's holding the gun up towards your direction.
That is a mental note to her of, put a pin in that. I will deal with that later. I have a problem at hand right now.
Perfect. Francisco is bleeding. You can tell that he's been hurt. He's not mortally wounded as far as you can tell. The other person that's in front of you that has a knife has lunged forward, and their momentum is now moving past Francisco. You can do one of the following. You can take that guy down or help Francisco.
Would I be able to tell, how how bad Francisco's going down? Like, is he on his last leg, or does it look like he has a little bit of fight in him still?
He's got fight in him. He's just hurt.
Okay, but eyes are still, he's still alert. He's not.
I'll roleplay with this right now. Amor. I'm fine. But you need to run.
Not without you.
You don't know what you're meddling with right now.
She ignores what he says, grabs her cape, and as the lunge is happening, she's gonna twist the cape around the arm to basically intertwine him, because she's an escape artist, and using her own body weight, she's gonna like pull him forward into like a dive roll to try to pull him over her shoulder.
Perfect. As you do so, we're gonna go ahead and roll for that as well. You're gonna do a move roll for me. And we're going to rectify now the other roll that we had.
Apparently today is just a day for sixes.
Perfect. Awesome. As you read, you can tell that he is not mortally wounded. He has been shot in the shoulder. It's through and through. You're not a doctor whatsoever, but you can definitely tell that he's not that bad. As you read the rest of the room, you do notice that there is a statue now, without its head, moving closer to Victor, and you also see that Vivi is, for a lack of a better term, making a WWE move off of this guy to take him down. So the one thing that catches your eye, however, is Myra is now pruning some roses.
Okay. All right. So Echo looks at Diantha's husband, kind of clocks that he's going to be okay, and then relocates her attention, kind of skimming across the room as her eyes fall on the weird statue, and Vivi friggin' swooping this thing to Myra, who's now growing flowers out of them, which is weird and is also way more in the vein of what she's capable of figuring out. She's not a medical person. She's a weird magic person.
Sure.
And so she kind of like, her eyes skim across each of her circle members. It's kind of going, okay, they're probably fine. They're fine. Can't help. What? And kind of goes, I'll be back to Diantha and her husband, and rushes off in the direction of Myra.
Perfect. Myra, you are legitimately pruning some roses right now. The one thing that you keep on thinking over and over in your head is about Connie. And then you hear,
I told you she's all right.
Explicitly, you did not say those words, but I appreciate the door nonetheless.
Tomato. Now, your people here have meddled things they don't understand. And I know that you can fix things. So fix it. I'll do it for you.
You lead the way. I might be of more use if they don't realize I'm following?
He chuckles.
Next to you, Myra, you see a statue. That statue opens its hand. And at first you see a letter. The letter is scarlet. And he crushes it. And a powdery substance comes out of it. And as you're watching, he blows this powder into your face.
Now I told you I'll take care of it. Let me in.
As you may know, in the Scarlet Woods, there is something called Scarlet. It is a very strong hallucinogen drug that kicks in very quickly. It is now filled in with your lungs, and you have mere seconds to fight back. Or you let it settle in. The choice will be yours. You can roll a focus to try to fight and combat this, or let it take over you.
May I make a third choice?
Absolutely.
I want to take the last seconds to try and mind connect back to Echo. Just
Sure.
for a second, so that she has some sort of, even if it's not words, some sort of like understanding that I'm switching in some way.
Sure.
What would you like me to roll?
I'm gonna have you roll a focus roll, and Echo, you're gonna go ahead and roll a focus roll to get all that done. As we are looking to resolve that, we're gonna go to Victor and Vivi. Victor, you just shot your sister and the man across the room, and you shot Cecily as well. How are you feeling?
I am upset right now at the fact that Cecily got into the way of this, not knowing what the hell was going on. And so I will look at her very frustratedly and just like move, and I'm going to just step around her to try and get down to the one gentleman that was attacking Vivi and the Hatter.
Sure. As you all are now surrounding this one person, Echo and Myra, what are your results?
I have 2 in it. I rolled a 3 and a 2.
Okay. Echo.
4.
4. You have a mixed success. You connect to Myra. You feel her reaching out. Myra, what is the message you're trying to convey? And then I will let you know, Echo, what you hear.
It's, rather than words, it is I would like to convey an image of Myra's mask with the white roses on it, and them getting like red, whether it's blood, whether it's paint, just thrown upon them from an outside source to indicate that something is coming after or to, or besides it being like, I'm joining the dark side. But we'll see what happens.
So that is exactly what you see. I think that's a really cool way to do it. I'm not going to say that you don't see all of it. I think you see all of it. However, Echo, that's up to your interpretation on what you understand from that.
Mm-hmm. I think Echo sees this image and doesn't quite get it the way that it was meant to make it across. I think she gets it as there's some sort of change happening, but she assumes that it is that you are being overwhelmed or being hurt by something rather than you are being changed with something. And so she kind of picks up in her speed to try to help you.
Okay. Vivi, we go to you. So, you've taken down this person. You rolled a 5 and a 6. Mm-hmm. The person is now on the ground. As you do this move on them, you notice that they look up at you. And when they do, they smile. And as a magician does, they disappear. You then turn around to look at your hatter, and he is now on the floor, curled up, in a fetal position. You see your brother running towards you. You see Cecily, Echo, and Myra. Everyone is in a standstill. And as the camera pans up, we hear these words. This is just the beginning. And that is where we end tonight's episode.